You walk into a grocery store, and everything costs more than it did last year. Your rent went up, your electricity bill went up, even your morning coffee costs more than it used to. So, what is actually going on? Why does the price of everything just keep going up? This is called inflation, and it affects every single person on the planet. Today we are going to break it down, simply. To understand inflation, we start with the most basic rule in economics: supply and demand. When lots of people want something, but there is not enough of it to go around, the price goes up. Think about what happened. During COVID, factories shut down, ships got stuck, goods stopped moving, supply dropped, but people still needed stuff. So sellers charged more because they could. That is supply and demand inflation, and it is just the beginning. Now here is where it gets really interesting. Imagine a small island with 10 people and 10 apples. Each person has $1. Each apple costs $1. Everything is balanced. Now the government prints $10 more and gives everyone another $1. Now there is $20 chasing the same 10 apples. What happens to the price of an apple? It doubles. Now each apple costs $2. More money in the economy does not mean more stuff. It just means higher prices. This is called monetary inflation, and governments do this more than you think. In fact, the US printed 40% of all dollars ever in just 2 years during COVID. There is a third type of inflation, and it starts before the product even reaches you. Imagine you run a bakery. You need flour, electricity, and delivery trucks to make and sell bread. Now oil prices go up. Your electricity costs more. Your delivery trucks cost more. So even though the bread did not change, your costs did. So you raise the price of bread, or you go out of business. This happens across every industry, and prices rise across the whole economy. Now here's the part most people do not know about: the spiral. When prices rise, workers demand higher wages. Companies agree, but now their costs go up. So they raise their prices again, which means workers need even more money to survive. And the cycle repeats faster and faster. This is exactly what happened in the 1970s, and it took years to fix. So how do governments actually stop inflation? This is where central banks come in, like the Federal Reserve in the US. Their main weapon? Interest rates. When they raise interest rates, borrowing money becomes more expensive. People borrow less, they spend less. Less spending means less demand, and prices stop rising as fast. But raising rates too high can slow the economy, or even cause a recession. It is a balancing act. Cool the economy without crashing it. That is why inflation is one of the hardest problems in all of economics. So what does this mean for you personally? If inflation is 5% per year, your money loses 5% of its value every single year. Money sitting in a savings account earning 1% is actually losing value. That is why people invest in stocks, real estate, or assets that grow with inflation. Inflation is not always bad. A small amount, around 2%, actually helps the economy grow. The problem is when it gets out of control, like we saw in recent years. Now you understand why the price of everything keeps going up and what is being done about it. If this made economics click for you, subscribe. We explain money simply every week.